Hello my dear sewing friends, it's Alisa here. Thank you so much for tuning into Simple Serger Technique series. And in this quick and easy episode, we will explore 3-thread overlock setting. As mentioned, this is a 3-thread technique, and for that we will need to remove one of the needles and one of the cones that corresponds with that needle. That is going to be our first setting adjustment. Now, if you remove the needle on the right, you will have a wider seam. But if you remove the needle on the left, as you can see, the seam now is narrow. With that, you can choose which setting suits your project the best. The settings for stitch width, stitch length, and differential feed are going to stay the same as they would for regular serging. As always, I'm going to use different colors of thread so that way we can see a little bit better. And with that, our next step is to thread the serger. The tension on the loopers and on the left needle, since I removed the needle on the right, is going to stay the same as for regular 4-thread serging, and mine is usually set all for 4s, so that's what I'm going to keep it at. Alright, now let's grab a couple of remnants of both knits and wovens and do a couple of test runs. We can start by chaining off a little tail. Then lift up the presser foot, grab your piece of fabric, place it underneath, and lower your presser foot. And let's start serging. We want the seam to be nice and flat without any of the threads pulling to the back or to the front and distorting the fabric. On knits, this seam will remain stretchy, and on wovens, it does finish the raw edges of the fabric with a little bit less bulk than a 4-thread serging technique. If your seam is looking like this, then the colored thread that we used is going to help you to identify which thread is pulling. In this case, it's the upper looper that is too tight, and therefore you will need to loosen it. When you're troubleshooting, make sure that you adjust a single setting at the time and then do a test run, so that way you can clearly identify where is the issue. When you're problem solving, here's a quick reminder that tension isn't always the only culprit. Regularly check your serger needles to make sure that they aren't bent, like in this example, or that they don't have any burrs or snipped off points like in this one. Now, one of the questions that I get is, what's the actual difference between a 4-thread and a 3-thread overlock or serger seam? And since I made a couple of samples, let's go ahead and take a look. On the top, you can see 4 threads, and on the bottom, 3. When done on knits, both of these are going to remain stretchy, but the 3-thread one is going to be a little bit stretchier due to the lack of that 4th thread. That also makes it a little less secure. Therefore, you will see oftentimes that a 3-thread technique is recommended on the seams that aren't going to be under a lot of stress, or simply to finish the raw edges of the fabric where another seam or another technique is used to construct the garment. Personally, I don't really happen to use it that often, although it is a very useful, simple, but very useful technique to know and to master, especially if you're working a lot with lightweight fabrics like, for example, cotton voile. It is also a great basic technique to start with and then build on top, because with a couple of modifications, you can actually turn this technique into a flat lock seam or into a rolled hem. And if you'd like to see how to do that step by step, with problem solving, then I got you covered. Click right over here. And thank you so much for watching. I truly hope that you're going to explore your serger a little bit further and enjoy all of the things that it can offer. Until next time, happy, thoughtful serging. I'll see you soon. Bye!